All right, it's time we work on this. And some people in the comments said, oh, the co-op is back again. Well, the co-op never left, and there's a reason for that. But I'll tell you about it right after this. Welcome back. I'm Ross the Oliver Man. This here is a number 2 co-op, which basically was a cheapo put-together tractor back in the day where they used Dodge truck parts, a Chrysler 6-cylinder engine, you know, transmission and rear end out of a truck with some custom fab pieces, and make the sucker sail down the road about 50 miles an hour. This tractor came into my life. I worked on a set of brakes for a lady out of a 77. She brought me a set of band brakes and wanted them relined, and I did that, and all's right with the world. And then well, I don't know how long it was later, she called me and said, hey, I bought a tractor at an auction and I want to bring it straight to you. And there was a laundry list of things she wanted done to it, most notably the brakes. And so then she brought it down here, we unloaded it. I said, I'll call you when I get, you know, however far. Well, in the meantime, we discovered that the block was cracked. And so I called her and I said, hey, how do you want to proceed here? I mean, total tear down and weld it up and rebuild, or what? Because she bought the thing to go on tractor drives. And the problem is, when you get, you know, into about the 3rd hour of the tractor drive, I'm afraid the old crack's going to open up and just dump all your water out and you're going to be stuck somewhere. So she didn't want to spend the money to, you know, go through the motor or whatever the right way. She said pour in some stop leak stuff. So I did that. I think I got it stopped. So all's well with the world, right? Well, the problem is, I'm just double checking here to see. I can still see fluid in there, so, you know, I'm thinking I got it stopped. But I couldn't get a hold of her. She had said, after that last time I talked to her, she said, no, I'm going to go on vacation until like the spring. So, you know, it was going to be many months. So I thought, well, I'm not going to rack up a huge bill on it until, you know, closer to when she gets back. Well, then lost track of her, never heard from her. I lost her phone number. We couldn't get a hold of each other until the other day. She finally called me about something else, and I said, hey, thank goodness you called, because I don't know where to proceed from here, because we kind of left it open-ended. She had a bunch of stuff she wanted to do, but some of the stuff I think they can do themselves, and there's no reason to waste money on me doing it when you can, you know, pay somebody to do it on your own. Or, you know, she has relatives or friends or somebody who can do it, like make a new seat. She wanted a seat where it could hold 2 people. Well, I really don't want in on that, because if it'd fall off, then I could be in trouble. So she's going to sort that out. This seat's very bad also. It needs replaced anyway, because when she was unloading off the trailer, you could hear it was cracking, and it's not getting any better. I hate that it's been here this long, because it obviously had a cheapo paint job put on it, and it's not holding up very well. Just from sitting here in the barn, it's been fading away. The outer color is leaving, and the primer is showing through. So somebody's work there was not A+. So hopefully I don't get blamed for that, but I don't see how. I mean, I didn't paint it. So the plan moving forward is going to be, I want to clean up that block and try to get some silver paint and hide some of that so that it's not so blatantly obvious that there's issues. I have also a temperature gauge. Somebody has cut the temperature gauge off. And what I'm afraid of is, I'm afraid they were trying to hide sadness. I told her, I said, I'm going to put a temperature gauge in it, and then I'm going to run it and see if it just gets over into the red and she's smoking, you know. because I haven't run it that long. You saw that video where I ran it around the pasture and then up and down the road a couple times that one day, but it was winter time, so it probably didn't get too awful hot. So work on that crack cosmetically, temperature gauge, and then tighten the rods for the brakes. I told her another problem I have is where you get parts, and I really don't want to tear this all apart unless we definitely know someplace we can get pieces first, because then it's going to sit here forever in pieces, and I don't want that either. And I think the brakes feel fine myself. She just brought it here because she wanted to make sure. But I think if I tighten up the rods a little bit that do the foot brake, see, it's got both. It's got a foot pedal that does both at the same time, or it's got individual brake hand things for turning, you know. But the foot pedal does both rods at the same time. So we're going to check and adjust on that deal. And then we are going to, you know what I'm saying, make the best of it, you know. It's just, I'll probably wash it off a little bit so it doesn't look so pathetic. But I don't want to spend her money, and I really don't know that I want to do too much of this project. I should have told her no to start with, but she was kind of insistent and said, hey, I need somebody to do this. But now it's sat here forever and ever, and I don't like that. So we're gonna try to start her up here. See, another thing is it's already had somebody's custom mods done on it. So there's no sediment bowl anymore, which I don't necessarily agree with. I don't agree with the rubber fuel line either, so we may change that too. But you gotta turn the old lever on, ball valve. I do like a ball valve idea so that it, you know, you can shut it off quick. But like now, I'm pretty sure her battery's junk. Yeah, we got nothing. That's why I brought the jump pack, because I knew we'd need it, you know. I knew we'd be into that. I also don't remember if this pulley spins. I don't think it spins the whole time. I think I'm safe to, but we will soon find out. See, 11.1, 12.9. It is charging. All right. Let's try second gear. Probably needs a carburetor rebuild. Oh, got him right there. Too dead to run. Needs a battery. Don't know that I really want to go to the trouble of buying one, but I guess I will. I mean, I can text her and see what she wants to do. The story as it be is that this came from a family who sold motorcycles, maybe, and that's why the custom chrome and what have you. It's a neat old tractor, but there's a lot of things on it that I would do differently. The seat, for one, I would forget that idea about putting two seats on it myself and put one right in the center where it was easier to drive. because this just is not handy at all. So I'm thinking that the first thing I'll do is the temperature gauge. We need to shut the gas off. I remember them saying that it see, like, why is there a extra long fastener through the wall? I don't get that at all. I'm gonna have to find out why it's behind the battery. Was that the battery retainer? I bet that was a battery box, like it would hold your battery tight to the front. So we're gonna have to redo that. I really would like to see a sediment bowl in here, but boy, do I not want to try to get that fitting out of there. So I don't know, but I don't like the rubber fuel line on top of engine, because that's a recipe for fire, as is the plastic fuel filter. The bad thing about this sitting is it's drawing a little bit of moisture, but that could also be that it's leaking internally, and our leak is not solved. And I've already changed the oil in this once, so I don't agree with where we're headed. But she said they had another engine maybe, so that's why I guess we're not going to spend a lot on this, and I'll just let her do what she wants. I mean, like I said, I really kind of have remorse over agreeing to even let this come here. So temperature gauge is the first thing. Then probably to do this correctly, I will need to pull the starter so I can get in there and get a lot of that solved. I mean, the cracks run all the way up here under, like, where the freeze plug is, to the drain, and then back here through this freeze plug. I've never had the starter off, so it could be horrendous behind there. I don't know. But something needs to take place. I mean, I like the... I don't know. It's just... This is just one of those things. Somebody else has done so much work to it that I hate that I'm the guy that has to follow that and try to make sense of all this. I just don't. I don't know. It's a cool old tractor and it runs fast. I mean, it's interesting to drive, but yeah, talking ain't working. So I'm gonna go grab my temperature gauge, and I had to get a bracket, and we'll try to figure out what we can do and can't do here. So that's where we're gonna begin. Well, I was gonna move some hay. I did a little bit while ago, and took a little break from it. Now it's gonna rain. That's typical. You know, why would stuff work? It just won't. If it calms down here in a minute, I'll probably go ahead and do a few more just to get it done. Sure. Thought I'd be all cute and have this ready to go, but I guess I got to take the gauge back out to get the bracket tight, and then tighten it back up. And we're both going to get soaking wet. I tried using existing holes is what I was after here. I did have to put one in, but Felt like that was a small price to pay. For something that looked nice. We have to find a path that we can go through. Good, good. Alright, what's the chances that the outer piece will interchange and we don't have to change the back fitting? What are the chances? I doubt it. Okay, yeah, sure, we're gonna get wet. That's okay. Cool. Guess what? It won't work. God dang it. Well, we're both getting covered, and it's not from the same thing. Jeez. Well, that was one of those moments where life kind of all happened at once. That pouring rain and blowing inside here all over me at the same time that I pulled this plug out and water comes shooting out at me and all over the camera. But I did the right thing. It was obvious that the quick switch wasn't going to work. Those two fittings were not adaptable. So I put it back in, got some jugs, drained the water into the jugs till it kind of quit running out, and then switched it with the fitting that it came with, and then now is all right with the world. So hopefully that doesn't leak. I got it topped back off with antifreeze, so that part of this repair should be done. I always like to, and I did that on this one, like crack this loose again and let the air bleed out so you don't get an air pocket inside there, you know. I've heard of engines getting ruined because they had, you know, guys thought they were full of water, but they really didn't. The block had air in it. So we want to make sure we always do that. The highest point you can get to on the block, take her loose. We'll throw this, we'll cut the end off and then throw this in the drawer for quick plug. You know, sometimes you need something to plug it off. You could quick switch, put your plug in, and then you wouldn't have to drain the whole system if it was really difficult to get to your drain or what have you. But yeah, that was kind of a mess in a hurry with rain blowing in and this happening at the same time, but that part should be done. We got us a gauge in there now, although it's soaking wet, but we'll run it and see what the gauge has to tell us as far as what the temperature actually is. So I'll probably let this hang for tonight because it's probably going to just keep raining and no use to get trapped down here soaking wet and all that. So I'll continue this tomorrow and bring you back along, but tomorrow's plan is get that block cleaned up, you know, try to hide that sin, because that's what she wants. She doesn't want to tear her down and weld it up the right way. So we'll try to make it less obvious that leaks have been happening. Then we will, what's left? Tackling our brake adjustment, and probably then just test drive it. I'd really like to do something to this fuel system, but I don't want to open a can of worms. I really feel like that is not an appropriate setup. But at the same rate, I do not want to open up a can of worms, you know. I suppose if that doesn't look like it's going to come loose out of the tank, I could take this elbow off and get a sediment bowl that'll thread on there, and it would hang down in here, which would probably be okay, because then you could see it a little more better. And then we could run a steel line over to our carburetor with a metal filter, you know, real close, because I don't like rubber line, people, is not a good idea on a tractor. I just have found that that is not the way to go, you know. There's too many things that could accidentally get moved over against, and then sadness happens. But if you run a metal line down through there and then just leave your last inch or so, you know, like I could clamp it to the frame here and then run a rubber hose down here underneath, because there's nothing down there that would hurt. But if it's clamped, it won't, you know, you won't have your troubles like you got. And we'll get rid of that. That's actually a plastic filter. It looks kind of metal, but it's not. I would say it was on there when they painted the block, and the reflective silver paint got on there. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I mean, if it was mine, I would go a different route, but it's not. So we're gonna go the route that she wants to go, get it done, get it out of our lives. She can try it out if she's got problems with it. I don't know that I want to be the one to do it, but you know, they can go from there. I'm not going to charge her a bunch. I'll be very fair, because I don't really feel that I've done a whole lot other than, you know, just a few little minor things. So it really needs the carburetor cleaned, but I would say that she could probably do that herself. I mean, I might put some seafoam in it and in the tank and let her eat. I've never put gas in it, so I don't think. Maybe I did, I don't remember. If I did, it was last year. But I need the shed space. I don't need to be storing other people's projects too. So I'm trying to push through on this and get it done. She's on vacation again after I talk to her, so I'm hoping that by the time she gets back, you know, she can just run down here and get this, and we go on with our lives. Because I don't know. I don't mind working on stuff, but I don't have time to hunt parts that don't exist all over the world. So, you know, if it was for myself, it would be maybe a different story. Somehow in your mind, it's more fun when it's for you than when it's for somebody else. So yeah, it's easier to put up with some delays and different things, but I got other fish to fry, you know. Fair's coming up. We want to get all those projects done, so this thing's got to go. So we're going to plug on, and we'll clean it up real good, because it needs a bath pretty bad. It got kind of a partial bath right here, but we'll get her cleaned up, and we'll give her a test run. But I'm happy with that setup there. I mean, if you're sitting on there, you can see it, and it's not obnoxious, and I didn't like hole saw a hole in the dash or anything, you know. I just kind of went with what was there. She's got her Auga horn button over there, so but yeah, I think we got us something. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, and tell me how dumb you think I am, or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.